Hi, my name is Megan Nichols. I'm a middle school social studies teacher at St. Teresa's Catholic Academy, and this is how I use Achieve 3000 to reinforce literacy skills in social studies. So in social studies, it's really important for us to incorporate as much nonfiction reading as possible, and I like to use that for enrichment and remediation when we're covering certain concepts. The problem that you might find as a social studies teacher is that not all of your students are at the same reading level. So if you wanted to teach something, for example, about the elections, and you want all the students to be able to understand what the Electoral College is, and you want them all to be able to read that on their own, if you don't have a program like Achieve 3000, you're going to be finding an article on your own and then changing it on your own for hours to meet each student's individual reading level. What Achieve allows me to do is to find that content and with the click of a mouse assign it to every student, and they'll all be pushed just hard enough that they're improving their fluency and their comprehension, but that they are not actually struggling to access the content because it's too hard for them. So this fall I wanted to teach a lesson on the process of elections. So I just from the homepage go to search and search Electoral College, and I'm able to find a whole bunch of articles to choose in order to start this lesson off. I was able to find this great article called How Should We Count the Votes, and this fit in perfectly with my idea for the unit because I wanted students to be able to consider not just the candidates, but if the election process itself was right and was fair. So this article, from what you can see, is the teacher's view. It's the highest reading level, but when I walked around and students were working on this, some of them are only reading 3 or 4 paragraphs, but they're all accessing the exact same information, just in a different way. After they read the article, they complete an activity that immediately assesses their comprehension. It's about 8 multiple choice questions, and I get those results right away. Then they go to a poll that forces them to take a stance on if the Electoral College system or the popular vote system is preferable. They take that, they submit it, and then eventually we can take a look at how the class thought overall. So this is a great point in the lesson to pause, include discussion for guided practice, and then on their own they can do a thought question, which is their assessment. From here it has a really well-worded question about which system they prefer. There's a writing rubric, so they can double check that to make sure that they know I expect high quality work. They type their answer, check their work, and submit. After you've assigned the work, the great thing about Achieve is that it will save it all for you. It makes it really easy to grade, and you can view it as student reports or look at an individual student's work. So in particular, if I wanted to pay attention to how students did on the activity, on the comprehension activity only, right? I click on that, I scroll down, I click View Report. You can narrow it in a bunch of different ways. If you're looking for one thing in particular, I could go into one class, just look for the one article in particular that I want to pay attention to, and take a look at how this student did on the activity questions. I can see a breakdown right away if he got things right on the first or second try, which questions he got right and which questions he got wrong. So then I can really hone in on if this student is struggling with summarizing, main idea, vocabulary, and allows me to then in the future give that student more targeted support. So the great thing about Achieve is that it's really accessible to teachers to use for both whole group and small group instruction. So I've been able to use it whole group in social studies in a couple of ways. The first is if I'm trying to help students improve their writing skills, and I notice that, let's say, most of my students are struggling with creating a really strong topic sentence. I can teach a mini lesson to the whole class, focus on here's how we create some awesome topic sentences, and then I can assign them all the exact same article, have them do the activity, write the thought question, and immediately view their topic sentences and pull those back to show good examples to the whole class. Additionally, if I was having students prepare for a debate, I could assign them all a really high engaging article, have them do the poll question, and then pause them right away and say, wow, half the class really feels this way, this part of the class really feels this way, what does it mean? Now let's go back to the article and back it up with some facts. That's great ways to really keep students engaged and to structure your lessons for a whole group. If I ever want to split them into small group, if I notice that some students need additional front loading or background information or help making connections between, let's say, the Electoral College and their lives, I can have them work with me and I can give them more direct instruction and more front loading before they read, and the students who already are ready to jump right into the work can just go start the article right away. So really the great thing about Achieve ultimately is for teachers, it saves you a ton of time and allows you to help all your students without having to spend hours and hours and hours changing materials. And then for students, of course, they're able to feel much more confident in class because they can access the content regardless of their reading level, and they're being exposed to so much great content at their reading level that hopefully their reading level will continue to improve.